Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. We talked yesterday about CME gap, support range, everything below the price action influencing positivity if the price were to pull back. And at this point, how much higher is it going to go? That's the question I keep getting. We hit 157 not 3 or 4 hours ago. And overall, I think the local high will be somewhere in the 160 range. I have this from before. We'll double check where that's at. I believe that's a weekly or daily candlestick closure in the past. So a lot of times those are good support and resistances we want to kind of count on. And we're really going to also verify and double check a few things here as well. This bullish flag pattern here is either A, invalidated, or B, essentially broke to the upside. So what we want to look at is the back-end liquidation data, see if there's anything else that kind of is influencing the price to go up or down. I do want to preface here and let you know it's extremely important to recognize that every time, I think it's, okay, sorry, not every time, like 14 out of 16 times this year, it's over 90%. We see a green Friday or a green week, it sells off on the weekend. Okay, so just know market makers are pretty good about securing profits. It would be ridiculous of me to tell you that everything's going to the moon right now because we still have yet to see any profits being secured. Okay, so just know that could come to pass here. So please recognize that. Now, taking a look at liquidation, really not a whole heck of a lot to the upside. There is more to the downside, incentivizing the price to pull back. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to pull back right now, but I'm very confident that if Bitcoin were to see 93,000, 92,000, potentially even 90K, then we're going to probably see a correction to the 150 to 140 range. When I say that 150, I'm more so referring to we got this liquidation at 149 as low as roughly about 135. So I think better case scenario, we're going to see the 130s, but there's the most amount of liquidation is between 130 and 132. So it'd be awesome if we saw that. Just know we'd also be breaking bearish moderately on the short term, and that wouldn't be a positive thing. You don't necessarily just buy that dip, but conversation for another day. We'll get there. If we get there, rather, we'll talk about it. Between now and then, liquidation delta is still high. You don't want to short against that. Okay, so even if the price were to pull back, which I'm hoping for, that may never come to pass. And ultimately, it's inherently riskier to short right now than it is to take it long. So you're just better off to wait for either a better long entry or add to your position in the 150, the low 150 range, because there's a decent chance we still go higher based on all this open interest below the price action, but also the fact that Bitcoin is maintaining its range quite well right now. Okay, so even though it seems very odd and very unusual, that's kind of the market we're in right now, we may not see that correction occur from Bitcoin. So if we close above 95,000 today, we hold that range all weekend, I think there's a distinct chance we go to 100,000 first. Okay, so all that being said, that's only going to work positively for Solana, and Solana has performed fairly well versus Bitcoin here recently. While it's not like a front runner, kicking total butt like SUI and Dogwood Fat are, it's still looking pretty strong, and the overall sentiment is that we're more likely to go up than down. Okay, so daily time frame, very bullish. There's nothing here that I see that's like a standout. We're going to turn around, we're going to pull back. There's no hidden bearish divergences, nothing at all. And I obviously say hidden with sarcasm because I think nothing is really truly hidden. It's all pretty clear and transparent, but the key takeaway here is that we are above a lot of support if the price does pull back. I think a better case scenario would be a bounce off this local high of 147 and or secondary to that, once more, about the 135, 136 range. Those are two potential case scenarios here for us. But for right now, 4-hour time frame is kind of telling us we should pull back at least temporarily. Bitcoin has the exact same type of price structure where we have a second stochastic swing to the downside. We've broken below our moving average. Money flow index is pulling back. This is all normal stuff for significant uptrends that have no correction. Okay, and you've got to recognize too, we are on the larger time frames, we're almost hitting a second 9 NTD sequential. So we maintain this range, we would be overextended twice in a row with very little correction. So that's generally not a great sign for continuation, but once more, we're still honoring our ascending trend line here. We're still over all moving averages. I think Solana is still in extremely good shape right now. Okay, so I think the best strategy here at this point is to consider some longs if the price were to pull back to the 145 to 147 range. That would be initial entry number 1, and entry range number 2 would be the secondary support of 135 to 140. That's a good little area there. So those are kind of just some areas of interest there for me. Between now and then, just recognize from our macro perspective, 160 is that resistance for us here that goes back a long ways. And I would just recommend securing profits between now and then at that level if the price were to come up to 160. It makes sense there. Either way, I hope it's a green weekend and a phenomenal weekend for everyone regardless. I'm certainly not betting against this. I don't think you should either. But the reality is that a pullback would make sense before we leg up again, just based on us being 7 days in a row, 7 solid green days in a row. It's unusual for Bitcoin not to secure profits in that amount of time. All right, I hope I made sense of this and you learned something today. Comment below, please like, subscribe, follow. I love to hear from you. Gentlemen, join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. We got a lot of cool, awesome, interactive behaviors there as well from people. And I would say premium here over in our Discord is probably the best place to interact to as well. We got a pretty awesome community here as well. Okay, so look forward to working with you. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time. Take care out there.